Good morning. It's Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And it's Christmas here. Yes, I thought I'd give you a bit of a welcome for Christmas 2022. Here we are. Okay, and now let's go to what we have to do. This is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers, and today we are doing a very interesting work by Dante Alighieri, just telling the story of Dante's life and his works. And it's Tuesday, the 13th of December 2022, and it's lesson number 58. So 2 more lessons, and then I'll take a bit of a holiday from this Italian lessons production. So 1 to 60, I think it's a good one to have a break from, and then I'll come back to it later on with a more varied type of approach, but always relating to the study of Italian lingua e letteratura, language and literature. Very important to read the classics, and very important to know the history of the language and the history of literature if you are a student or a lover of Italian culture. So today it's the turn of La Vita Nova, one of the first works by Dante Alighieri, and it's Vita Nova, meaning it's Vita Giovanile, of when he was young. I think, some of those sonnets are really beautiful, but there's more to, there's more to it than meets the eye, obviously, with any of Dante's work. We'll then continue with Speak Parla Speak, of course, a couple of poems today by Gianni Rodari, and another song. We begin another song, Coro all'improvviso, another repertoire. So number 6, this one is number 6, will be coming up. So we've done already 5, so that's 60 songs there already. Now, I don't think I've repeated any of them, but if I have, it'll be just very minimal. The other thing that interests me, of course, is ancient Rome, and at the moment I've been looking at 2 of the emperors. One is Commodus, and the other one is, well, he wasn't an emperor as such, but it's sort of whatever he did sort of led to the establishment of the Roman Empire, and that's Julius Caesar, his story, available on Netflix, and I'm sure on other platforms, but that's the one I'm looking at the moment. And that's the one about the about Julius Caesar relates to his campaigns in the northern part of Europe, in Germany, France, Germany, England, etc. Okay, so that's where we're at. What can I say? We've got a couple of minutes. I might as well tell you that I think that people should try to come to see me relating to the learning of Italian, because I can sort of not only give some practical indications about what could be done, what you could do in order to improve your own language, your own Italian, the second language, or it's not primary, it has to be second language. If you're second, third, fourth generation Italo-Australian or Italophile, you love Italian culture, that's fine. So I can indicate, which books to use and what the approach should be, etc., etc. So and I can also be of help to you very directly as well. So if anyone, a little group, a small group of people want to learn Italian together, come to me. I can provide. I can actually, sit down with you and go through some very specific exercises, or better still, some of the songs, do a bit of theatre together, things like that. So I just need people to come and say, yes, I'm interested. Okay, that's the one. And don't forget about the, world history. Wonderful, wonderful world history. And in 2023, I will be teaching at the University of the Third Age, all going well, there in North Bowen and Deep Dean. And it'll be French in the morning, then followed by Italian. And I'm hoping that in term 2, they'll let me start with world history, a different class for that. It'll be more like a workshop together. Okay, so it's 11:30 and I'm going to start. Now, please, today I'm going to read quite a lot of Italian, so I'll do, wherever it's necessary, I will intervene in English, but otherwise it's La Vita Nova, okay, from the history of Italian literature. Di circa 27 anni, Dante, avviandosi alla maturità, pensa di raccogliere le memorie della giovinezza. Sente che un periodo della sua vita sia ormai conchiuso. Mortagli Beatrice, ed essendosi la propria esperienza di uomo e di poeta straordinariamente allargata e intensificata. So he went right into it. From his young age, when the death of Beatrice really woke him up to a lot of his internal feelings. La giovinezza per i più è un'irrevocabile primavera che lascia in cuore un vano rimpianto e che si affretta perciò a cancellare dalla memoria, oppure la si guarda di tratto in tratto sorridendone come di un complesso di ingenue illusioni destinate a cedere il campo alla verità della vita, meno bella ma più degna. So our youth gives us a different type of, it makes us reflect about what has gone on, enjoy and not any sadness too. Ma le personalità dotate di alto spirito, like Dante, non si frantumano né si spezzano lungo il cammino degli anni. And it's happened to me too now. I remember everything that happened in my youth. I sort of think about it, but it's more to do with the past, the present and the future together. So here we go. Ma le personalità dotate di alto spirito non si frantumano né si spezzano lungo il cammino degli anni. Tutto quello che hanno goduto e sofferto rimane vivo nella vastità e profondità della loro coscienza. Dante perciò, nel comporre il diario della propria giovinezza, più che suggellare un passato ormai inefficiente, intende ordinare e chiarire un'esperienza in intima connessione col presente e l'avvenire. That's what I was saying before, that he writes this in order to condense, to condense his experience of life that has been lived, that is now, and that is for the future. La vita nuova significa giovanile, consta di rime 25 sonetti, the 25 sonnets, 4 canzoni, 4 songs, una ballata e una stanza e di prosa, a bit of prose as well. Queste narrano i fatti che dettero occasione alle poesie, oppure sono divisioni, cioè analisi schematiche del contenuto e del metro di esse. Tale commentario prosastico è senza dubbio posteriore alle liriche, le più antiche delle quali sono del 1283, his lyrics, anno che segna lo principio dell'amistà con Guido Cavalcanti. So we're talking about 1283. Dante was born in 1265. We're talking about an 18-year-old Dante who comes under the influence of Guido Cavalcanti, cui il libretto è dedicato. He dedicates this libretto to Guido Cavalcanti. E perciò la raccolta ci offre uno schema dell'evoluzione artistica dell'autore, che nelle prime liriche subisce da vicino l'influsso della scuola guittoniana, di quella stilnovista, ma in una maniera sempre più personale e originale. So that's if you know, he likes the Guittone, l'Arezzo, and the stilnovisti way of writing poetry, etc. But he looks at it from his own personal point of view. La narrazione si rifà da quando all'età di 9 anni Dante vide per la prima volta Beatrice, at the age of 9, minore rispetto a lui di alcuni mesi. So she was younger than him by a few months. When I first started talking about it, I thought she was a little bit later, but then I discovered that Beatrice was born in 1266. Gli apparve, this how it appears to him, Beatrice, apparve vestita di nobilissimo colore, umile e onesto, sanguigno, cinta e ornata alla guisa che alla sua giovanissima età si convenia. So she was nicely dressed, she looked good, it appealed to him. He sort of gave her a lot of compliments. Of course, all this was true. Quell'apparizione turbò il suo animo di fanciullo. That, this young girl made him feel something inside. It's a young man, not as a young child. Well, ragazzo. Turbò il suo animo di fanciullo e vi si impresse. So left a mark on his heart and his soul. La rivide 9 anni dopo. Oh, he saw her again 9 years later. E nebbe in sogno una visione. And he had a vision of her in his dream. So he was 18 years old when he started to write the dream, and presumably that vision also helped him write La Vita Nova, che nel primo sonetto propone di spiegare a tutti i fedeli d'amore. La passione lo smagrisce ed egli cerca la gentilissima, benché la speranza, la presenza di lei gli provochi un mirabile tremore e smarrimento. So in her presence he felt tremors in his heart. Must have been very passionate, Dante. Un giorno avviene che mentre in chiesa egli mira Beatrice, that's very much what used to happen. You got to church and you look around and there she was. La gente crede che i suoi occhi siano volti a una donna che le siede accanto in modo da trovarsi sulla linea visiva del riguardante. So as he turns, everyone thought, oh, he's looking at this woman next to him. But it wasn't true. Il poeta pensa allora di approfittare dell'equivoco fingendo di amare quell'altra. So he pretends that, he starts to flirt with the other one, whereas his eyes are looking at Beatrice. La quale diventa così la prima donna dello schermo. So that's the first woman nello schermo of his poetry. Ma questa si allontana da Firenze ed egli al ritorno da un viaggio sceglie per consiglio di amore una seconda donna dello schermo. E va tant'oltre in tale finzione che troppa gente ne ragionava oltre i termini delle cortesie. So said, he really ha preso una cotta Dante. E questa gentilissima, la quale fu distruggitrice di tutti i vizi e regina delle virtudi, passando per alcuna parte, mi negò lo suo dolcissimo salutare, nello quale stava tutta la mia beatitudine. So she didn't say hello to him. In una visione Amore lo consiglia di riacquistarsi la grazia di Beatrice. So it says, Amore says, think of Beatrice, don't worry about this other woman who didn't say hello to you. Di riacquistare la grazia di Beatrice celebrandone le virtù in versi e facendole rivestire di soavi note musicali. So not only did he write poetry about Beatrice in order to not forget the other one, but to put the other one aside, and also some music to it as well. So that's why the canzoni are there. Avviene poi che, condotto da un amico a una festa nuziale, vi incontra inaspettatamente Beatrice. So, they invite him to a wedding and he sees Beatrice. E ne riceve una tale commozione che le altre donne, accorgendosi della mia trasfigurazione, si cominciarono a maravigliare e ragionando si gabbavano di me come quella gentilissima, come quella gentilissima. And that's, so everyone notices that he looks at Beatrice at this wedding. E questo è il famoso episodio del gabbo. Il poeta non ha tuttavia abbandonato il proposito di prendere a materia del suo canto le lodi della gentilissima, ma gli sembra troppo ardua impresa e non ardisce cominciare. So he doesn't approach her. Quando ecco, mentre cammino lungo un limpido rivo, whilst, he's walking alongside rivo is a torrent or I suppose a river. La mia lingua parlò come per sé stessa mossa e disse: donne che avete intelletto d'amore. So he began this sonetto called Donne che avete intelletto d'amore, that you feel love. Da questo primo verso nasce la prima canzone. Intanto muore il padre di Beatrice. Di lì a poco Dante è preso da una dolorosa infermità che lo strazia per 9 giorni senza tregua. So Beatrice's dead, dies, and Dante falls sick for 9 days. E mentre giace affranto, riflette sulla fragilità della propria vita. E il pensiero ricorre all'amata e dice fra se stesso: di necessitade conviene che la gentilissima Beatrice alcuna volta si muoia. Il suo animo affralito non regge a questa idea, si annebbia ed entra in farnetico durante il quale a un certo punto si oscura il sole e si mostrano le stelle di un colore come se piangessero, gli uccelli volando per l'aria cadono morti, la terra trema e un amico gli viene a dire: or non sai, la tua donna è partita di questo secolo. Il poeta allora piange when Beatrice dies, con gli occhi bagnandoli di vere lacrime. E finisce col pronunziare veramente alcune parole con un singulto di pianto, per cui la congiunta che vigila al suo capezzale si impressiona. Accorrono altre donne e Dante viene ridestato e richiamato alla realtà. Guarito di quella infermità, compone la canzone Donna pietosa e di novella etade, detta del presagio. So Dante falls sick when he hears about Beatrice dying, and he goes in the trauma almost, and other women come along and try to revive him, come back, and when he comes back, he writes this Donna pietosa e di novella etade. Trascorso qualche anno dalla morte di Beatrice, Dante non ha ancora smesso di rimpiangerla e se ne sta pensoso e sbigottito. Ma un giorno, egli narra, levai gli occhi per vedere se altri mi vedesse. Allora vidi una gentile donna, giovane e bella molto, la quale da una finestra mi riguardava, sì pietosamente, quanto alla vista che tutta la pietà pareva in lei accolta. Comincia allora il suo amore per la donna gentile. Okay, so after a couple of years of mourning, Beatrice is sitting there, and a woman from one of the windows sees him, and he writes about this donna gentile. Il ricordo di Beatrice lotta in lui con questa nuova passione che per insinuarsi e insignorirsi del suo cuore si veste di pietà e gentilezza. Ma Beatrice ha il sopravvento marcato da una forte immaginazione che si leva nel poeta. Mi parve vedere questa gloriosa Beatrice con quella vestimenta sanguigne con le quali apparve prima agli occhi miei, e pareami giovane in simile etade in quali io prima la vidi. Dopo il sonetto oltre la spera che più larga gira, che l'ultima poesia del libro, Dante conchiude con l'accenno a una mirabile visione, in seguito alla quale egli si propose di non dire più di questa benedetta, infino a tanto che io potesse più degnamente trattare di lei. È vano congetturare sulla natura di questa mirabile visione, ma è lecito supporre che in essa, e più ancora nel proponimento che ne conseguì, fosse il primo germe della Divina Commedia. Because Dante puts Beatrice in paradise. In quanto alla figura di Beatrice, il poeta ce ne dà appena qualche vago accenno. Color di perla, a quasi, in forma quale conviene a donna aver, non for misura. È la donna angelica, angelicata, concepita secondo la dottrina stilnovistica, intermediaria fra il mondo umano e quello divino, disiata in sommo cielo. Ogni pensiero vile si agghiaccia e perisce in chi la stia a guardare. Colui che è degno di vederla diventa per virtù di lei così umile che ogni offeso obblia. Chi ha parlato con lei non potrà finir dannato. Ella è pietra di paragone della bellezza muliebre, porta amore dipinto nel volto, dove nessuno può guardarlo fissa. Le altre donne se ne vanno con lei, ne acquistano per riflesso, bella grazia. Finanche la morte diventa cosa gentile, poiché tu sei nella mia donna stata. Il suo sorriso è ineffabile. Quel ch'ella par quanto un poco sorride non si può dicer né tenere a mente, se è nuovo miracolo e gentile. Il poeta si tiene timidamente a distanza e l'adora con religioso stupore, appagandosi di lei saluto, che lo riempie di intollerabile beatitudine. È una specie di culto tributato a un essere in cui l'adoratore scorge segni misteriosi del divino. Dante fantastica sul numero 9, che nel Medioevo era simbolico della Trinità, essendo il quadrato di 3. Questa donna, gli dice, fu accompagnata da questo numero del 9 e dare ad intendere che ella era uno 9, cioè un miracolo, la cui radice, cioè del miracolo, è solamente la mirabile Trinitate. Vitanova, capitolo 29. A cagione di questa indeterminatezza e convenzionalismo inerenti alla figura di Beatrice e dalle manifestazioni dell'amore di Dante, ci fu chi mise in dubbio non solo i fatti narrati nella Vita Nova, ma addirittura la realtà storica di Beatrice. A tal proposito diremo, può darsi che la gentilissima non corrisponda a quella Beatrice Portinari da noi menzionata nelle notizie biografiche dell'Alighieri, ma basta leggere senza prevenzioni la Vita Nuova per accorgersi, o meglio, sentire che la donna ivi celebrata non può essere una finzione. I provenzaleggianti e gli stilnovisti solevano ricorrere a questo artificio e perciò le loro donne sono tipi astratti, figure convenzionali, e tali rimarrebbero quand'anche riuscissimo a rintracciarle nello stato civile. Ma rispetto a Beatrice occorre invertire questa considerazione, riconoscendo che ella rimane donna viva nella passione e nella giovinezza di Dante, malgrado la retorica e il dottrinalismo del rimatore. So Dante he moves away from the Stilnovisti and the Provençal poets because their woman is in the head whereas this one here has lived, is in real life. Nella vita nuova, del resto, non mancano tratti di un convincente realismo, ad esempio, quando Dante si reca con l'amico alla festa nuziale, vi incontra Beatrice e lo assale un tremore che, condizionato dai particolari dell'episodio, non rassomiglia affatto al convenzionale tremore degli stilnovisti. Quantunque vi compaiono i soliti spiriti e spiritelli, capitolo 14, oppure il delirio causato dall'infermità, mentre il malato è vegliato da una giovane congiunta e nella camera si aggirano altre donne, that's capitolo 23. Beatrice non fu dunque un pretesto a congegnare rime. Il diciottenne, piena la mente del misticismo platonizzante del Guinizelli, ma con un cuore sensibilissimo all'amore e alla bellezza nel rivedere quella creatura già balenata ai suoi occhi di fanciullo, concentrò su di lei non solo la sua ispirazione di rimatore stilnovista, ma tutta la sua capacità affettiva. Beatrice rimase sempre per lui l'ideale, completo e insostituibile, il simbolo concreto e vivo della perfezione, il giudice muto della sua vittima, della sua vita intima e sociale, l'angelo luminoso che consola ed esalta. L'amore giovanile di Dante presenta, insomma, i caratteri fondamentali di una vera e propria passione. E se egli ormeggia le convenzioni e gli schemi dello stil nuovo, la sua retorica è, per dirla con un illustre critico, una retorica giovanile che non di rado si purifica e si eleva ad autentica poesia. There you are. Is Dante's meeting with Beatrice and all his thoughts about her, both in life and after she was dead. After she died, gave her that necessary inspiration to carry her in his heart and in his mind and in his work throughout his life. So she appears in La Vita Nova and also, of course, in La Divina Commedia. And then we'll see. So next week there's Il Canzoniere e il Convivio. We have the Vulgare Eloquenzia e la Monarchia. So there are an idea generale, and la Monarchia finishes there. Okay, there are also other minor works. He mentions here the Epistole, the letters, Due Ecloge, Latine, another type of writing. Okay, and La Questio de Aqua e Terra, so something about water and the earth. In other words, its concerns for the environment. So that's it for today, for la storia della letteratura italiana e della lingua. La lingua verrà adesso quando facciamo l'impero romano, no? That's when we come to it. So here we go. The next thing that we're going to do is, of course, Speak, Parla, Speak. Yes. Well, it wasn't too bad. I finished a little bit earlier than I thought, which is good. But I didn't do a lot of explanations of Dante's, about La Vita Nova, and my suggestion, you get a copy of it as well. I've got a copy of it I have, I can access La Vita Nova in Dante's major works, in some of the bigger books that I have, but I don't have small copies. It's a very small book of poems, e canzoni, etc. Okay, La Nostra Scuola. This is now we go to the practice of Italian. Developing our word skills. Ok, la nostra scuola. Chi lavora nella scuola, la direttrice, il direttore, il preside, la preside, i maestri, gli insegnanti, la segretaria, il giardiniere, gli alunni, gli scolari, i maestri d'appoggio, il sacerdote, i maestri di classe, i maestri supplenti. So who works in the school, at the school? Ecco cosa c'è nella scuola. Let me show you the other one first. As I said, if you had the book, it would be so much easier. That's it there. La nostra scuola, and these are who works at the school, the principal, teachers, gardeners, students, etc. Now we're going to go to ecco cosa c'è nella scuola. Ok? Le aule, la sala dei maestri, l'ufficio, la biblioteca, il cortile, il campo da gioco, il prato, i corridoi, le scale, i gabinetti, il recinto, il pian terreno, il primo e secondo piano, il cancello, le panchine, la sirena, il campanello, il botteghino, il citofono, l'intercom, la buca della sabbia, il castello. Okay, we turn the page. So this was the classroom, library, playground. So these are the words that you can also add to yourself. You can add to yourself as well. I rubinetti, il tubo per innaffiare, the hose. Il tubo per innaffiare, that's the hose. Non calpestare l'erba, chiudi bene i rubinetti, c'è un rubinetto che gocciola, pulite il cortile, raccogli le carte, non giocare nel parcheggio. Welcome to Dean Canaan. So these are some of the phrases that you can use. Non calpestare l'erba, chiudi bene i rubinetti, turn off the taps, c'è un rubinetto che gocciola, a tap is leaking, etc. Le materie che studio, the subject that I study, la religione, l'inglese, l'italiano, la matematica, la storia, la geografia, le scienze, l'educazione fisica, l'educazione civica, l'educazione artistica, il computer, la musica. La mia divisa è blu e grigio. La mia divisa è blu e grigio. So there you are. So these are some of the, this book here is fantastic for building up your writing skills as well. Have a look. There you are. You've got, le materie che studio, and you've got them in English as well. So if you want to write in Italian, you can use some of this vocabulary with just the present tense of essere and avere, or first, second, and third conjugation, and away you go. You can write in Italian. Okay? Now, I've done La Vita Nova, and I've done Speak Parla Speak. Now it's, well, I don't know whether I should, since Dean is there, but, I normally take a break by singing a song. And this one here is Guarda che Luna by Fred Buscaglione. Here we go, the lyrics, don't worry about the rest. Guarda che luna, guarda che mare, da questa notte senza te dovrò restare. Folle d'amore, vorrei morire, mentre la luna di lassù mi sta a guardare. Resta soltanto tutto il rimpianto, perché ho peccato nel desiderarti tanto. Ora son solo a ricordare e vorrei poterti dire: guarda che luna, guarda che mare. Ma guarda che luna, guarda che mare, in questa notte senza te vorrei morire, perché son solo a ricordare e vorrei poterti dire, guarda che luna, guarda che mare, guarda che luna, guarda che mare, che luna. And then normally what they do too, they do a lot of, a whole section with music, and then you start again. Guarda che luna, guarda che mare, da questa notte senza... Because the song is short, therefore, in order to, end the time, you do it twice, and that's it. Okay. Guarda che luna by Fred Buscaglione, a really beautiful song. And, I'm sure that a lot of our singers know about it. Now, apart from I go to I mestieri, a bit of poetry now, okay? A bit of poetry. We'll start with Gianni Rodari. He's a very, very well-known writer. He's got the reputation of writing for children, but really all of his work, Welcome to Angela Imola, all of the work of Gianni Rodari has got, there's this one here, Filastrocca impertinente, a naughty filastrocca. Filastrocca impertinente, chi sta zitto non dice niente, chi sta fermo non cammina, chi va lontano non s'avvicina, chi siede non sta ritto, chi va storto non va dritto, e chi non parte in verità in nessun posto arriverà. If you never leave a place, you'll never get anywhere. That's one, filastrocca impertinente. Chi sta zitto non dice niente, of course. Chi sta fermo non cammina. Chi è seduto non è alzato. Things like that. There's another one, I thought it was by Gianni Rodari, but it's really by M. Lodi, okay? I mestieri. C'è chi semina la terra, c'è chi impara a far la guerra, chi ripara le auto guaste e chi sforna gnocchi e paste. C'è chi vende l'acqua e il vino, chi ripara il lavandino. C'è chi pesca nel torrente e magari prende niente. C'è chi guida il treno diretto e chi a casa rifà il letto. Chi nel circo fa capriole e chi insegna nelle scuole. C'è chi recita, chi balla e chi scopa nella stalla. Così varia è questa vita che la storia è mai finita, ma la vita finirà se il lavoro cesserà. So if there's no more work, life will fall. So you must work throughout your life. It's a good one. Okay? Then there's another one here called Lavaro, because I've just finished the Canto 21 of Purgatorio, and it's about Everest. Here, let's see what Lavaro does. C'era una volta un rospo che ogni tanto allungava il muso e mangiava un po' di terra. Il rospo, like a frog, Frank Mazzacca, welcome. Perché sei così magro? Gli chiese un giorno la coccinella. Here, this is the one. Have a look. There's il rospo, okay? And that's la coccinella. Okay, so they're talking to each other. Okay. So, perché sei così magro? Gli chiese un giorno la coccinella. Perché ho sempre fame, rispose il rospo. Ma se mangi soltanto la terra, disse la coccinella, perché non ne mangi a sazietà? Since you're earning, you're eating earth, why don't you fill up? Perché un giorno, says the rospo, disse con voce triste il rospo avaro, anche la terra potrebbe finire. So I was thinking about tomorrow. And this one here comes to us from Leonardo da Vinci. And beautiful, some of these things are, I haven't done enough of them really. I'll look for another one before we leave. Let's see. Takes a while to get to another song or another poem or another something. I've got here Ce n'è troppo di Natale. My God, but it's very long. I can't do that. No, 3 pages, too much. Il bambino. No. Brinata, la nebbia. Ah, scioglilingua. Quel che di notte il gelo gela, di giorno il sole sgela. Quello che di notte il gelo gela, di giorno il sole sgela. Quello, scioglilingua. The Italians are good at that. Scioglilingua. There you are. I can't find anything at all here. Never mind. We got to the next one, which is we do another song. Come on. We've done Guarda che Luna. Now this one here is called Luna Rossa. Okay? I think somebody might know it. And I don't know whether I can do this one here, but I'll just read it and I'll sing it when, remember the actual tune. Vaga distrattamente abbandonato, l'occhio sotto cappiello nasconnuto, mani in da sacca e bava aizzata, vago fischiando stelle cosa asciute. E a luna rossa mi parli te, io le domande si aspetta a me, e mi risponde si vuol sapere, che non ci sta nessuna. E io chiamo nome per te vedere, ma tutta gente che parli te, risponde, è tardi, che vuoi sapere, che non ci sta nessuna. Luna rossa, chi mi sarà sincera, luna rossa se ne aiuta la sera senza me vedere. 1000 più appuntamenti ha già tenute, tante più sigarette ha già appicciate, tante tazze caffè mi so bevute, 1000 bocchelle amare ha già vasate. E a luna rossa mi parli te, io le domande si aspetta a me, e mi risponde si vuol sapere, che non ci sta nessuna. E io chiamo nome per te vedere, ma tutta gente che parli te, risponde tardi, che vuoi sapere, che non ci sta nessuna. And then music. E a luna rossa mi parli te, io le domande si aspetta a me, e mi risponde che vuoi sapere, che non ci sta nessuno. I have here, the singer is called Mario Frangolis. I have never heard of him. Mario Frangolis wrote Luna Rossa. So this one here, Guarda che Luna, by Fred Buscaglione, and then Luna Rossa. Beautiful set for a singer, about the moon. You can introduce the moon when, we're going to the moon very soon, etc. We're going to the moon very soon. It rhymes. But now I'm going to sing you about the moon. And if I were Dean Canaan, that I'm not, I would sing Guarda che luna, and then vaga distrattamente abbandonata. You can look it up. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful set, this one. Okay, how are we going for time? We're doing all right. Now, in ancient Rome, now we got to lingua, okay? In ancient Rome, let's see, we have in the kitchen. What was in the kitchen in ancient Rome? A rich man employed several cooks, each specializing in different dishes, and kept slaves to help them. Vegetables and sauces were cooked on wood or charcoal stoves, and the slaves are generally people that the Roman general and the army sort of overcame and took over their land. etc., they would kill the men, or they would make them prisoners, and they would become. They could be working on construction sites and as gladiators, whatever, depending on the skills that they had. If they were cooks, they would be put to cooking. Sometimes they would also be crucified, depending on on what the general wanted to do at the time. Vegetables and sauces were cooked on wood or charcoal stoves, and meat was roasted over an open fire. Most of the cooking was done in earthenware pots. They broke easily but were cheap to replace. Earthenware. Here are some Roman pots and cooking utensils. The tall jars called amphorae were used for storing wine and oil. Here, I'm going to show you. They're very small. At least you can see the amphora. There you are. See that? That's the kitchen. And then, rich people. And this was the pots. The amphora was there at the back. And they store oil and wine. Okay? And this is a guy pouring the wine, whatever. Cooking? Not sure. Yeah, he was cooking. Maybe he wasn't. So some of these pictures here, they're helpful because, the people who made this book obviously have gone to a bit of trouble finding out what the Romans were using in kitchens. Okay, here are some Roman pots and cooking. Okay, wine was usually mixed with water in a large bowl called a crater before being served, so you wouldn't get drunk. So that's where I get it from. I actually, forgive me, but lately I've been putting, a quarter of the glass in wine and then the rest with water, cold water. Beautiful taste. Very good drink for summer. You don't get drunk either. Okay, this cook is crushing spices and herbs in a mortar using a club-shaped instrument called a pestle. Also, I suppose you could cut up the garlic, etc. This bronze apparatus, rather like a tea urn, was used for keeping liquids warm, probably water or wine. The liquid went from the jar through a passage around the charcoal fire and then out of the tap. I suppose in winter time. So that was that. Now eating, I'll do the eating part too. Poor people lived mainly on bread and a sort of porridge made of boiled wheat. Meat, fish and vegetables were expensive extras. Breakfast and lunch were both light meals. The main meal of the day was dinner. For wealthy people, this sometimes lasted for several hours. The Romans ate their food with their fingers or with spoons. They did not use knives and forks. Welcome to Antonio Danzi. Rich people had slaves to wipe their fingers clean for them between courses using a bowl of water and a napkin. Welcome to Maria Anna Cassino. In early times, men and women dined separately, but during the empire, they were invited together. At dinner, the Romans lay on their sides on couches. Sometimes there were musicians and dancers to entertain the guests. It was also an occasion for poets and playwrights to come and read their latest works. That's what I want to do myself at Federazione Lucana. For next year, I thought we will have some coffee, cakes, etc. if you come. Okay, 9 was considered the maximum number for a private party. Some Romans made it a habit to overeat and then make themselves sick so as to have room to eat more. Yuck. Can you imagine that? Ooh. Courses. The meal began with mixed hors d'oeuvre. They had salads, ostrich, lobster, oysters, stuffed olives, and dormice is like a pizza. Then they also had a boar's head, baby pig, honey cake, ostrich, lobster, boar's head. And then honey cakes, stuffed dates, and baby, well, that was for dessert. So here, let me have a look for you. Here we go. There we are, there. See that? That's how they ate. They didn't have forks or knives, only spoons. And that's, you know, a rich man's dining room. The way, look at the way they, how could they eat like that? But they did. And they ate and drank for hours. And this is what they ate. Oysters, stuffed olives, lobster, ostrich, baby pig, etc. I'm sure there's a lot more, but that's it. So, that's our dear friend, you know, welcome ancient Rome. Now we go to, last night I was watching Julius Caesar. On Netflix. There's the Roman Empire, it's called. Look for it. You get a good idea of Roman life. A bit rough, but that's how it was. In AD 293, that's 300 years after the birth of Christ, Emperor I'll continue from last week, so if you want to see, this is what he called trier, frontier life, you know, when the Romans went up north, you know, in France, Germany. This was around in Germany. Okay, in AD 293, the Emperor Diocletian made sweeping changes in the administrative structure of the empire, of the Roman Empire. There were to be two emperors, Augusti, Maximian in the west and Diocletian himself in the east. And the capital for Diocletian was Constantinople, whereas Augusti was for Rome, because the empire was very, very big. Each Augustus was to have a co-regent, a Caesar, thus forming a tetrarchy or rule of four princes. Constantius Chlorus, father of Constantine the Great, was named by Diocletian to be Caesar of the West and took up residence at Augusta Treverorum, now called Treveri. Recovering from the destruction 18 years earlier, it became a capital city again. 12 years later, Constantius became the Augustus of the West. As befits a capital city, unprecedented building took place. The magnificent imperial baths, equalled only by the baths of Caracalla and Diocletian at Rome, and a circus for chariot races were built, and the amphitheatre was repaired and enlarged. Constantine, who succeeded his father as Caesar of the West, and who resided from time to time at Treveri, built a monumental gateway and completed one of the most impressive buildings complexes, the Aula Palatina, a law court basilica. Later, when Constantine became sole Augustus, he founded Constantinople in the east as the new capital of the empire. Constantine the Great died in 337 after the birth of Christ. Valentinian reigned 364 to 375, left his brother to rule in Constantinople and took up his own residence at Treveri. His son Gratian reigned 367-383, also resided there. He renovated the baths, a new sewage system was built, the streets were repaired, repaved and lined with porticos, and the double church that forms the ancient nucleus of the present-day cathedral was constructed. Treveri was also a centre of learning. In 365, after the birth of Christ, Valentinian engaged Decimus Magnus Ausonius, a professor of rhetoric at the University of Bordeaux, that's in France, to serve as tutor to his son, Gratian. Gratian maintained a lifelong friendship with Ausonius, elevating him to a consulship. Ausonius is the author of a poem extolling the beauty of the Moselle, and another in which he acknowledges Treveri as a city that feeds, clothes, and arms the empire's troops. Feeds, clothes. A lot of work. Very, very good. In 383, Gratian was slain by a usurper to the throne, and his brother Valentinian II was the last ruler to reside at Treveri. Roman troops were withdrawn from the Rhine, and Treveri went into a state of decline, finally being overrun by Franks. That's the French, the Gauls. What is especially noteworthy about the many years of prestige and prosperity that Trier enjoyed as Augusta Treverorum and as Treveri is that most of its inhabitants were not Italians or Romans but Celts, a proud people native to the area of Northern Europe. The Celts who had their own traditions, engaged at times in rebellion against Roman rule. However, once they accepted the benefits of Roman urban civilization, the people of Treveri thrived in the prosperity of the Pax Romana for over 400 years. So the Romans were really, really tough, but they were able to overcome the barbarians, would attack people. They would go into farms and kill everybody because if they wanted a couple of pigs, they would just take anything that they wanted. Well, not bad. So that's that. But what I haven't done today, let me see. Maybe I can read. Let me read some Latin words. Caldarium. What do you get from that? Caldarium, caldo, hot, like a bath, hot bath. Repositorium, deposit somewhere, like a store. Armarium, from the arms, where you put your... Welcome to Francis Gallo, I hadn't seen you. Okay, aviarium, a bird, the aviary. Solarium, where you get some sun. Tabularium, tablet, a record, what you write on. It's very close to us. Dormitory, colo, conicio, and etc. The siege of Jerusalem, oh, that's interesting. But I'm going to read here, Appius, read this a letter, read it for, and then Appius Julius Giora, nepoti suo. Salve Simon, quam letus epistulam tuam accepi, gaudeo quod vales, spero etiam valere, et patrem tuum, et matrem, et sorores, et omnes qui tecum Cesare habitent. That's beautiful. Could almost understand everything there. In epistula tua multa de Hierosolimis a Tito imperatore obsessis rogabas. Difficile est mihi his tristissimas res referre, sed cum omnia cognoscere veris ut poeta ille dixit, quamquam animus menisse horret luctuque refugit incipiam. Now, you want to read some of the Latin? Here it is. There it is there. That's the second paragraph now. Okay? Quomodo nos Judai abhing quadraginte annos rebellione contra Romanos facta, gessium florium, procuratorem illum Judea pessimum ex urbe Hierosolimis. Diebus festis sanctissimis simisque rem divinam facere volebam, cum sciremus gessio expulso, Romanus regressuros, esse urbem defendere parabamus. That was parabamus. See that? Then we got to the next one. Urbs autem Solima natura arteque munitissima erat, mania enim ab Herode edificata erant, templum a Solomone rege, arx a Romanis ipsis, sed eo tempore Iudai sibi pene exitio erant, milites enim nostri in tres diversas factiones dividebantur. Quarum duces inter se quotidie rixabantur, nam alia consilia capere volebant. Itaque. Quarum duces iner se quotidie rixabantur, nam alia consilia capere volebant. Itaque antequam Romani regressi sunt, multi Iudai iam necati erant, multum cibi deletum erat. Up. Here we go. Okay. Sometimes I press the wrong button. I might lose you one of these days. Never know. Now that was the Latin. Now Latin is quite a language. A lot of it you can understand. And Latin has been the basis for many languages that have been codified with the use of grammar. The Romans, they had the tenses of the verbs. They had declensions. The declensions is a word that changes at the ending according to whether you want to say just a word or you want to say in the or to, at, or of. They're called genitive, passive, accusative. They are called the cases in Latin. Interesting, this Latin. I did it at school, and then, I haven't touched it for 50 years. But here I am, I'm back again. There you are. Finché c'è vita, c'è speranza. All right, now, the next song is a song that everyone knows, okay? Everyone knows this one here. Let me see. Oh, yes. Quite a few people today. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming on for this Italian lesson. Now, I just want to make a couple of announcements. This is lesson 58. There'll only be lessons 59 and 60, and then I'll stop there for a while because I want to catch up. I want to put all this, all these ones here, all these podcasts on my Insegna.com. If you got to blog down the bottom, got to shop, then you got to blog down the bottom. And if you want the languages, you got to shop. You press the language that you want. It's all there. Become familiar with it because you can access these lessons. They're valuable lessons. And I'm going to revise them myself, 1 to 60, for a while. And I'll have something to say about them. There's also there, that's an important consideration, is that, everything has to start somewhere and finish off somewhere. So this one here, I'm going to do that. In terms of my world history, which is, I'm very keen on it, I will go up to Christopher Columbus, when he first went to America in 1493, was it 95? Gosh, I can't remember. I've never not remembered when Christopher Columbus, 12th of October, it was 1992. No, 1492. That's fine. So in other words, I'll go up to that time and then I'll take a break there and then I'll come back again. But I have intentions of doing something about the Italian singers and the songs, because I've done quite a bit, and I think the singers involved in some of the songs deserve to be mentioned and also remembered as well. They've given us so much in terms of their, what Benito Failla used to say, a gift from God, if you can sing. But I say that everyone can sing, some better than others. Here we go. Mi sono innamorato di Marina, una ragazza mora ma carina, ma lei non vuol saperne del mio amore, cosa farò per conquistarle il cuor? Un giorno l'ho incontrata sola sola, il cuore mi batteva 1000 all'ora. Quando le dissi che la volevo amare, mi diede un bacio e l'amor sbocciò. Marina, 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 ti voglio al più presto sposar. Marina, 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 ti voglio al più presto sposar. Oh mia bella mora, no, non mi lasciare, non mi devi rovinare. Oh no, 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 no. Oh mia bella mora, no, non mi lasciare, non mi devi rovinare. Oh no, 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 no. Musica maestro, musica. Ra, 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 ra. It's a short one, so you then, you plenty of music, and then you start again. Mi sono innamorato di Marina, una ragazza mora ma carina, ma lei non vuol saperne del mio amore, cosa farò per conquistarle il cuore? Un giorno l'ho incontrata sola sola, il cuore mi batteva 1000 all'ora. Quando le dissi che la volevo amare, mi diede un bacio e l'amor sbocciò. Marina, 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 ti voglio al più presto sposar. Marina, 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 ti voglio al più presto sposar. Oh mia bella mora, no, non mi lasciare, non mi devi rovinare. Oh no, 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 no. Oh mia bella mora, no, non mi lasciare, non mi devi rovinare. Oh no, 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 no. That's it. There you are. Those are the 3 songs. This is, by the way, Choral Improviso number 6. There you are. They can, each one of these Choral Improviso programs can really be a wonderful cultural afternoons in some of the Italian clubs, done by everyone. You don't have to, you can have a little group of people. I've done the work for you here. It's there. You can get the songs from my Facebook page as well, because Dora Marchese and Rino Marchese, we sort of get together and sing these songs, and I think we're doing okay, because most of the songs come out all right. Of course, we don't have a big orchestra. We don't have, we don't have the ambience. It's done at home, but it's fun and it's educational. Speaking about learning Italian, that's how you do it. Now, I notice on online there's a lot of people who are learning Italian, and they want to contact each other, but I'm here as well, so don't ignore me. Never mind. Okay, how are we going for time? 12:33, I don't believe it. I had so much fun. Anyway, thank you very much for being on today. After this, I'm going to go on 3ZZZ for 10 minutes, and then you can watch Tom Padula TV on channel 31 at 1:30. And then by 2 o'clock, you'll have been finished with me. So, have a very good week. I'll see you next week for lezione, the next lesson, okay? And the one after that, it'll be 2 days after Christmas. That'll be it for lezione di Italiano for Tom Padula for, I started last year. So on that note, thank you very much once again. This is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. Ciao, alla prossima.